What's up guys, Boss here, and in today's video I'm going to be using this Miner Wall Breaker cycle deck. So recently I did a video on the Magic Archer variant with the Tornado, but it's been such a long time since I've done one with the non-Magic Archer variant with the Bats and the Spear Goblins that you see here. Tesla is still such a good building even after the nerf it got. And then you got the Valkyrie, which is so much better than the Knight in the deck because there's a good amount of Royal Hogs right now, and I feel like Valkyrie is just one of the best cards in the game. I've made a lot of videos on Valkyrie recently, and you guys can see it's just such a versatile card, especially in a lot of different cycle decks. Miner is going to tank for everything. I mean, it's not even just for the wall breakers. You can get a lot of damage from Bats, Spear Goblins, just accumulating that chip damage on your opponent's towers over time. And then, of course, the log, too, you can get a lot of chip with it, and it's just overall so good on defense. And I would say overall this is a pretty good, free-to-play deck, too, because, I mean, even though you have a couple legendaries in it, every other card in the deck is, of course, a rare or common. And also, I mean, these two cards have, of course, been out for a very long time. I mean, the Miner and Log have been out, what, like over 4 years now, I think? So, yeah. Before we head in the first game, if you guys would like to support me, to use my credit code BOSS in any Supercell game. Really do appreciate all the support from you guys. It does mean a lot. So right now, I'm at about 71, 73, a little below 7,200. Not too high up. I'm a little below my season highest. I actually went on a huge win streak, though, with this deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games won in a row, which I thought was pretty crazy. But yeah, let's try to push up even more. And I'll see you guys when I find the first game. Alright guys, in a game here, please subscribe if you guys don't want to miss any of my content. Would really appreciate that. So this deck, I don't think I already said this in the intro, I think this deck is one that is pretty skillful. I mean, you could disagree with it. I know some of you guys watching are going to be like, oh, you just spam the whole time, right? But this is actually a pretty skillful deck because you have to do a really good job of keeping track of your opponent's elixir and their cycle, and then also your own cycle. There's a lot of things you have to be thinking about when you're running this type of deck, because this isn't the type of deck where it's like, you build just like one push and take their tower. This is a deck where you're getting so much chip damage throughout the match, and you always have to be paying attention, because if you let your guard down and if they get like one good push and you defend poorly, you can lose the game. So it's one where you always have to be, as I mentioned, keeping track of basically what your opponent's doing and what they have in hand. So he's using a log bait cycle deck. Clearly that Electro Spirit's going to get a lot of value. What we can actually do, okay, he's going to rocket the tower. That is very, very interesting. I guess he's trying to get that chip damage early on, but that's extremely aggressive in single elixir. I don't know if we're going to be able to punish him for it, but yeah, skeletons make his cycle insanely fast. I think what we have to do is we have to try to get majority of our damage from fireballs and miners, because he has the Electro Spirit, which is so good against the bats, and of course he has log for our Spear Goblins, so that means we have to try to switch up the miner placement and get as much damage as we can from that. So I think now I'm going to send in a miner. We're going to play it, I guess, a little further back because we already have the Valkyrie down, so if he, were to play something, it could counter both at the same time if I played the miner too high up, and we have a small lead, but of course one rocket can change that. He's just going to go for an Electro Spirit. I guess I'm going to go Wall Breakers to kite this Valkyrie, and then I'm going to go for Spear Goblins here. He might let that one wall breaker connect, knowing that we've already dealt some damage in the opposite lane. So in this matchup, it is very important to be extremely aggressive, which is what we're going to do, because as you can see, he goes in for the rocket cycle, and that is why I just said you need to be really aggressive, because they will, get a huge lead if you're not careful from just the rockets, because you, of course, can't counter a rocket. You can counter pretty much everything else. I mean, you have log for the Goblin Barrel, but a rocket, there's nothing you can do about it, so you have to be keeping up the pressure like crazy. We're going to actually miner the Princess. I'm going to try to go for wall breakers in the opposite lane. We're going to get a fireball off here. He goes in for the log, and look at that. We get a double wall breaker connection. We're going to go Spear Goblins at the bridge because he doesn't have his log in rotation, and he is going to go for a Princess, but it comes down late, so we actually get a good amount of damage. I'm going to go Bats in the back. We're going to go miner here, and then we can go for a Valkyrie here on defense. It looks like we will have to commit a Tesla, unfortunately, because he went in for a Valkyrie to protect it. That was well played on his part. And he's going to continue going with the rocket cycle. He's relentless with it. But look at the Spear Goblins, once again, going to get damage. And look at that Tesla. It'll actually take out the Princess if he's not careful. I'm actually going to go for a Fireball here to predict something he plays. He doesn't play anything into it, but that Fireball is going to give us 250 damage. And now we're really, really close to being able to take this one. I'm going to go for a Valkyrie here just to pressure. We're going to go for wall breakers, and he still needs to get 2 rockets on my tower or 2 logs, because one rocket is not going to be able to do it. So Miner comes in, Fireball hopefully can put us into Fireball range. Yeah, there we go. We do get the win there, and pretty much all of his damage came from rockets. That was absolutely ridiculous, but that's why with this deck you always have to make sure to keep the pressure up, especially in those types of matchups, because I mean, if you're spending, you know, wasting elixir, like, notice how I didn't play any Teslas unless I absolutely had to. I also was making sure to not use my logs on his princesses and use my other cards like the miners and fireballs to take that out. So that way I always had that log in rotation on the goblin barrel in case he used it, and he didn't even use it because I had my log in cycle always. So that was good on my end to keep my cycle good, and that's going to put us now one win away from 7,200, and I'll see you guys when we find the second game. Alright guys, here we go. We found our next game here against Titan, so we'll go ahead and give him the good luck. And I guess we can just go for wall breakers immediately and see what he wants to do. Skeletons. So is he gonna... No, they... Oh, one of the wall breakers connects. Okay, I was gonna say, like, is it gonna stop it? It doesn't. We can go miner here. Let's see what he defends it with. Okay, he goes knight. So this might be Expo, which is a matchup that could go either way. The most important thing is to not cycle your Valkyrie and single elixir until they go in for an Expo, because if you cycle your Valkyrie and then they Expo and you don't have the Valkyrie and cycle, you're screwed, because it's your only good counter to the Expo. I mean, it's your only good tank in this matchup. So he's probably going to tornado that to the King Tower. Yeah, a good tornado player can usually get that activated pretty much every single time. It takes some practice. I mean, obviously you got to know the placement and the timing, but people who, I guess, use the tornado a lot, it's really, really easy to do, and he did a good job of that. So we're going to go for a Valkyrie here. We can play it low because he doesn't have the tornado in cycle, so he can't tornado it away. We're going to go for a log here, and then I guess I'm going to Tesla. Hopefully it can lock on the Expo. I guess it's not going to, but we might be able to get away with him not getting a connection just because he couldn't support that Expo any further, and we end up getting a wall breaker connection as well. So the only thing we got to watch out for is for him getting back to another Expo and him being an elixir lead right now. He definitely has more elixir than I do. I don't exactly know how much more, but I'm sure he's up at least, I think, 1 or 2 elixir. It looks like he's not going to... Yeah, so he's up like 1. That's not a lot, honestly. It was less than I thought. I thought he was up like 1 or 2. So I'm actually here just going to do this to take out the Tesla because I think it's really annoying. And he's actually going to use a NATO on that, so you can see that was really annoying for him. He had to waste a tornado just because I went for a miner to tank for that. He's going to go for a rocket. So this is where things get a little scary. We can cycle our Valk, though, because we, of course, are in double elixir, so it's a lot safer to do now. Here's the thing, though. This is like the last match where the only way he can get damage is from the rockets, because if I play good defense, it's so hard for him to get a good Expo lock. Especially in double elixir. Single elixir is pretty much their only chance, I feel like. So once again, we're just going to cycle wall breakers in the back. He's going to go for another rocket. I might get really, really aggressive with my fireballs just because he's going in for rockets aggressively, and I just need to make sure that I continue having a damage lead. Do we get one of the wall breakers to connect? Oh my gosh, it was so close, but unfortunately we don't get it. So he's going to go for another rocket here probably. Or he might set up for an Expo. It looks like he might. I don't know. I'm surprised he hasn't gone in for another Expo yet. He's been playing this overall really just kind of aggressive with the rockets, but the Expos he hasn't been playing. So we're going to fireball this here and then definitely go for a Tesla. Hopefully we can prevent him from getting a lock. Unfortunately, though, he goes in for Tesla. But the log does not hit the Spear Goblin, so we once again prevent the Expo lock, which is so clutch. We're going to go for wall breakers here. He's going to have to go for skeletons. His log is out of cycle. He actually decides to go for an Ice Wizard, so that will, I guess, prevent the connection. We can go for a Fireball, though. I know it's a negative trade, but I think it's fine. He's going to Expo, so let's go for a Valkyrie. And I guess Tesla. We just need to try to get back to another Fireball, and we'll probably be okay. Yeah, let's just Fireball this, and we'll be fine. It's only going to get a little bit of damage, but nothing too severe. Let's just go wall breakers here to distract the Expo a little bit, and then we can go Valk. And surprisingly, he's not going to... I thought he was going to, I don't know, get like a huge lock there, but it actually died, the Expo, sooner than I thought. And there we go. One of the wall breakers connected, gonna put us in fireball range, and we pick up the win there against another rocket cycle deck. First we went against log bait rocket cycle, and now, as you guys know it, rocket cycle. I mean, also known as ice bow, but pretty much he just cycled rockets the whole game, right? Alright, here we go. In our next match here against Oh My Days. So, I've played against this guy before, and I actually think he uses 2.6, if I remember correctly. And I'm only saying that because I just... Yep, there it is. And then right as I say that, we see that he is using 2.6. So, Hog is going to get one connection, unfortunately. I was hoping we would be able to stop it before it got a hit, but wasn't. It was barely not enough. He, in a way, kind of starting handed me because I, of course, didn't have my Tesla in rotation, which is really unfortunate. We're just going to go Miner here, and then I'm going to go Wall Breakers. It's going to force a cannon out of him, so I guess it's worth it. Yeah, he goes in for the cannon, so let's just go for a Tesla. I mean, I misplaced it. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you... Really, as long as you place the Tesla, the Hog won't hit your tower. I mean, even if you play it, like, high up. So, you know, if you don't play it in the correct spot, it really doesn't impact the game at all, especially if they don't support the Hog. So, it's not something I stress about too much, and that's why I often do misplay it, especially when it's like single elixir. So here you can see who's setting up for a Hog. I was trying to get ready and almost in a way predicted it, but he ended up not playing it, so he kind of juked me out a little bit. I'm going to try to go for a Miner here and then Wall Breakers. But I guess it's pretty easy defense for him. I think this matchup is pretty bad in single elixir, to be honest, but in double it gets a little bit easier. The reason why I think it's pretty bad in single is just because it's so difficult to keep up with his cycle, because my cycle, of course, is way slower than his. Not by a lot, but, I mean, he's using 2.6 and I'm using 2.9, so, I mean, obviously it's going to be a little bit slower. But once we get into double, we can start applying a lot of pressure, and honestly, if you look at the, you know, damage lead he has, it's not really a lot at all. So there we go, that's the correct testable placement this time, so even with that fireball, he won't be able to get the Hog connection on the tower. So he overcommitted, which means I'm definitely going to be a little aggressive here. I'm going to go for my own fireball. I'm going to go for a Spear Goblins, I guess, to try to predict his Hog, and then I'm just going to log, I guess. Okay, the Hog didn't get too much damage. That's good. We're going to go Miner Wall Breakers. And yeah, it's really easy defense for him every time. That's why this matchup, I think, is pretty bad in my opinion, but we'll see if we can, like, come back. So he's going to cycle a Hog, pre-place it in the back. So we actually need to pre-place the Tesla to make sure that we can get back to another Tesla by the time he goes in for another Hog. So let's, I guess, go Spear Goblins here. And the Miner's getting a lot of chip damage. I mean, that's actually really nice. Way more than I expected it to. And the back gets a hit too. Just like that, we almost... I guess, kind of almost, not really come back, but we get a little bit more damage. Oh, the Wall Breaker connects it. Okay, let's try to take advantage of those mistakes. So we're going in here again. He's actually going to Hog. We're going to get a Tesla down. Not in the optimal placement, but I had to make sure I got it down. Otherwise, it would have gone to the tower. Like, if I played it more to the left, it could have gone to the tower. It would have been pretty dangerous. Okay, so once again, we have to Tesla, not in the best spot, but the Fireball doesn't even hit the Tesla, so we're fine. And just like that, we actually have a small lead. We're going to go Miner Wall Breakers again. He's going to have to go for a Cannon, so that's technically an even trade, I guess. Let's just go for our Spear Goblins. And, okay, we'll go Bats here. He's going to go for the Hog. I'm going to pre-place the Tesla. Let's log and go for a Miner. Okay, there's the Fireball. Okay, high Tesla here. Oh my gosh. Alright, this is getting really intense here. Let's pressure with Wall Breakers. This is going to probably force a log or a cannon out of him. There's the cannon. We're going to go for a Miner. Tesla. Nice. Alright, nice. Our Miners are just getting so much damage. He's not able to stop everyone. I'm going to go for the miner again. Hopefully we can defend this hog. I think we should be able to because we're right back to another Tesla. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You just need to get into triple elixir and it becomes so much easier. So I think my point stands. Single elixir, that matchup is really, really obnoxious and it's really stressful even in double elixir. But then as soon as you get to triple elixir, you can just start spamming miners the whole game and even like go aggressive with like fireballs, and you're always going to have that Tesla cycle for the hogs. So really, the later that match goes on, the easier it gets for you. Not too bad. In the end, it really wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So there we go, 7,200. We got back to it. All right, here we go, guys. Give this guy the good luck here. We have wall breakers again in our starting hand. I guess we could just go for wall breakers to start the game off. Why not, right? It's just the best starting play. He's going to go for a cage, so I guess we'll go bats. Cage is, you know, it could be a few different things, but it's oftentimes either like RG, splash yard, stuff like that. Oh, he's using the Recruits Hogs deck, so this matchup is very, very easy because you have Valkyrie, you have Fireball, you have a faster cycle than them, and look at the start we have. Already such an incredible start. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go for bats behind this Valkyrie, and then we're going to go wall breakers in the opposite lane, because I think he might not have enough elixir to stop both. Yeah, you see, he tries to go for the cage, and we're getting, you know, we force a lot of elixir out of him, and we get some solid damage. We're going to go for Spear Goblins here. I let the Flying Machine lock on purpose, because if the Flying Machine took out some of the Spear Goblins, the Brawler would have gotten more damage in the opposite lane. So yeah, the key is just to defend the hogs with either Valks and Logs, or you can go for Fireballs. But yeah, this matchup is pretty easy, and you should be able to win it, like, you know, probably like 80% of the time, if I had to give a percentage. So we can actually go ahead and pre-place a Tesla here, because it's not, I don't think, smart to cycle something else in this situation. He's going to go for Recruits. I think we're just going to go ahead and play a Valkyrie here, kind of like in the middle. And he's going to go for that Flying Machine, which is pretty annoying, but I think we should probably be fine. Let's just go for a defensive miner here on top of the Flying Machine. And his only chance of winning this game is single elixir. If we get into double elixir, he has no chance of winning this if I play it well, because I'm just going to have the perfect cycle every time for what he has. We can go for an extremely low Tesla here, because all the hogs will go to it since he played them so low, or he played them in the middle. But if he played them all on one side, then I wouldn't be able to go so low with it, obviously. So he's just going to go for the cage. We can just take that out. It's fine to sacrifice your wall breakers to take out that cage. It's actually good value anyway. I'm going to go for a log here because he might drop a Electro Spirit into it. He didn't, but I think that's okay. We're going to go wall breakers here. He's going to go for the Recruits. Let's just Fireball that Flying Machine because it's annoying. And we're also hitting one of the Recruits. Let's see what he does here. Okay, he's going to go for Hogs. So let's just log that. And what does he do here? Okay, he goes in for the Fireball. So let's go for a Fireball to clean that up. And he's going to get some damage, but I think we're okay. I think he called a good game because he thought he was going to win, but he didn't realize that we were going to be able to stop that. We're going to go Wall Breakers to pull that back, and it's going to force a cage out of him. So we're looking okay. Even though I made a mistake there, we're still doing fine overall. Let's just try to relax a little bit and not make any more mistakes on defense. We're going to log the Recruits on the left lane because I feel like the right lane, a lot of it will be taken care of because of that Valkyrie there. We can just go bats, I guess. He's going to go for hogs. I don't think we need to fireball them. We probably will be okay. I'm going to go Valkyrie here. Hopefully it doesn't hit the bats. It doesn't. We can go for a fireball here. Okay, nice. Now we're playing pretty well. We're going to go for a miner. And he just used his cage, so he's probably going to have to go for a fireball on the right lane here. But then if he does that, we can go for Spear Goblins behind because he had overcommit. He's going to go Barbell, though, so good defense on his end. He stays alive, but now we take back the lead. And let's see what he wants to do. What I'm probably going to do is just go ahead and pre-place the Tesla. That's always good to do in double elixir. It's never a bad idea to just, you know, pre-place a Tesla. It's almost never a risky play when you're in double against most decks. Here we might have to go for a fireball just because, I don't know, this is a little stressful, it looks like, but I think we'll be fine because he decided not to play an Electro Spirit, so the bats are getting, like, infinite value. Here I'm actually going to go ahead and fireball the Flying Machine. I'm glad I saved it because that Flying Machine is probably more annoying in this matchup. So we can just go for a log here and maybe go bats. Okay, let's go Valkyrie here on top of the hogs, and then if he goes for a Flying Machine, we're going to fireball it for sure. I'm waiting for it. He probably will drop it. He might go for a fireball here. No, he doesn't. I thought he would fireball the spear goblins because he knows he's... Yeah, like, he has to get damage. Like, he's really desperate at this point. The log will actually clip... Ooh, it does not clip as many recruits as I thought it would. So let's just go for a miner here. It's going to force him to defend it. And then he probably won't be able to get the damage he needs. So we, I think, should be able to get the win here. Yeah, we have the lead right now. We can just go for... Okay, we can actually just fireball because we have the Tesla in cycle, so we'll be fine. And yeah, that's going to be GG. We have a super hard counter. Honestly, he played that, I would say, pretty well. Like, he did... I feel like he did pretty much everything he could. That matchup was just, like, nearly impossible for him. And even though I made some small errors, I guess you could say, on defense, we still managed to defend. I mean, not huge ones, but I just didn't, in some situations, do the best possible defense I could have. And he got some damage that I could have prevented. It's really hard to explain because... when I'm using a fast cycle like this, you can't dwell on the mistakes you make because, yeah, you just cycle so quick. There's so much going on, so that's why I can't even remember which ones I did. But when they happened, I knew, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But that's why, like, with a deck like this, you just got to move on and just try to play well the rest of the game. And luckily, at the end of the game, I played pretty well, so we managed to get the win. So there we go. Top 600 now, working our way up. And, yeah, let's head into the next one. All right, guys, we found our next match here. This might possibly be the last game of the video, we'll see. So we'll go ahead and give him the good luck here. I played against this guy before. He likes using, I think, log bait's his main deck, but the last couple times I played against him, he was playing other things, probably practicing other things. So we'll just go Spear Goblins here. He's going to go for Ewiz and log, so I actually don't know what he's using, to be honest, at this point. And, we'll just go log to cycle here, I guess. And what is he going to do? Miner. Huh. It's almost like B-rad's deck. I'm not saying it is for sure, but it almost looks like B-rad's deck. He's got the Ewiz, he's got the log, he's got... Didn't he use Ice Spirit already? So this could be B-rad's deck. Well. Well. Huh. I think it is. I don't know for sure. I mean, let's see if he uses Poison. But if he has Poison or Inferno, then it's B-rad's deck. I guess we can just go Bats. Oh, he does have the... Yep, there you go. So, we don't have, like, any counter to that. So he can get away with that pretty easily, not gonna lie. Because I don't have any... He did have to ignore both the wall breakers, though. That's unfortunate for him. I'm gonna ignore that Ewiz, because he already got a good amount of damage in the other lane. He doesn't catch the miner, so we're gonna get some chip shots there. And with that, we actually take the lead. So, not bad. The only counter we have to the miner is the Valkyrie, so I feel like this matchup is actually pretty difficult, unfortunately. Just because also Poison does more damage than a Fireball too. But I don't know. I mean, let's see how it plays out, right? I don't want to assume anything yet, but I just feel like it's going to be a little difficult. Well, I guess we caught the miner. We will have to log this Valkyrie back, otherwise I do think it would splash the tower, so that's fine. We'll go Bats here. We can just go Miner. Try to snipe this across the bridge. Alright, let's Fireball the tower, because this is going to really come down to how much... Alright, nice. We hit the Valk, so not a bad value Fireball. But yeah, in this matchup, we need to be pretty dang aggressive. But I'm just worried because, as I already said, the Poison does more damage than a Fireball. And that is a little bit concerning. However, you know, with some good Fireballs, maybe, and if we can get enough Miner chip in, like if we're switching up the placement, of course, you know, we might be able to steal the win. So Miner coming in, he does not catch it, actually, so we force a lot of Elixir out of him. He had to go for a Valkyrie, which just went inside of the Fireball, which was great for us, of course. He's going to go for an Ice Spirit. Okay, that Ewiz was aggressive. We're going to go for a Valk here, and I'm going to log 2 just to cycle, and then we're going to go for Wall Breakers here. And he goes in for the Poison, so he got really aggressive there. Hopefully we can be able to get a connection. No, unfortunately, the Ice Spirit stops it. That was a great Ice Spirit on his end. I'm going to go for a Fireball here, though, because I thought he was going to play something on top of the Miner. He didn't, though. So let's actually go for maybe a Prediction Log here to predict Skeletons that he drops. He's not going to play it, but he didn't have the Ewiz in cycle, so he's not able to get anything on top of that. So all we need to do is get back to a Log, and we should be able to win this game. Log, unfortunately, though, is not our next card, so we have to go for a Valk just to cycle Fireball. And can we get the log down in time? I think yeah, we caught the miner. That is going to be GG. So we end up picking up the win here against B-rad's deck. I'm sorry, B-rad, your deck is not going to win today. So yeah, that is going to be GG. And yeah, I think with that, that'll be it for the video too. So some solid games we got in. Yeah, I never thought I'd play against B-rad's deck in 2021, especially when you're not against B-rad, himself. That's quite surprising, I have to say. And then this is a really good matchup. So yeah, we had some good games. I lost this one. It was a crazy deck, and it was also the second game of the video. And as you guys know, I don't like showing losses really early on in the video, but kind of was a little difficult because of the Executioner and the Tornado. But what I do want to show you guys though is how you want to play against Lava, because I feel like you guys are probably gonna watch this and be like, how the heck do you beat Lava Hound decks? But let me show you guys. So instead of playing one more game, let me show you guys a replay, and kind of you guys can see, it'll be good representation of what you want to do. You can see really aggressive early on, and look at this Tesla here. Let's actually slow this down here. So what you want to do is you want to let the Lava Hound lock on the tower. You want to Tesla so it distracts the balloon. It pulls it, right? So then the Tesla shoots the balloon and not the Lava Hound. That's what you want. And then boom, Fireball here. Going to pretty much clean it all up, except that minion. But overall, I end up saving my tower and I'm in a good position. Luckily, this guy didn't have a Zap. I mean, if he had Zap instead of arrows, this matchup would have been a lot harder, obviously, because arrows he always has to overcommit, whether it's on the Spear Goblins or the Bats, and he also had Lightning for whatever reason. But to be honest, if he had Fireball instead of Lightning, I don't think it really would have changed that much, because Fireball, it's kind of the same case as the Lightning. It doesn't really get any value, because if he had Fireball, the only difference it would make would, he could maybe, Fireball, if I had like Bats and Tesla together, or he could like Fireball Spear Goblins next to a tower. But again, that's such a bad trade, so I still think I would have won if he had Fireball. But I don't know. I think the main thing would have been if he had Zap, right? Like, if he had Fireball instead of Lightning, Zap instead of arrows, maybe then it would have been really difficult, and I don't know if I would have won. But when they have a Lava deck like this, it's pretty easy. But I still think this is good to show you guys, because it's still how you want to play it very aggressively, but you always want to make sure you have enough Elixir for, like, a Tesla and a Fireball on defense if you need it. And you see, he doesn't even take two of my towers. He's got a very aggressive deck. We have kind of like a chip cycle deck, but we managed to keep it, for him at least, only a one-tower game. And even if he took my tower, I probably would have 3-crowned him. So that was a great, representation right there of how you want to play against Lava Hound. And I think with that, that'll be it for the video. So I hope you guys did end up enjoying it. We climbed up this video, almost got back to 7,300. And yeah, as I said, I think this is, one of the hardest decks to play in the game. I think it's a deck that, if you, practice this type of deck, it'll indirectly help you get better at other decks, because, like I said, you have to do a really good job of managing Elixir, keeping track of your opponent's cycle, and, not making mistakes when defending. So this is a good deck. I guess I'd recommend you guys if you overall want to get better at the game. But yeah, that is going to be it for the video. Make sure to like it if you guys did end up enjoying it. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed already, and thanks again until next time, guys.